These past couple of days as an Arsenal fan has been nothing short of eventful, to say the least. I mean, we went to Newcastle in St. James's Park, put up one of arguably the worst performances we've seen from Arteta and Arsenal in about a year or two, and we were just outplayed in every department. We lost 1-0. We now sit 5th in the Premier League, 7 points behind Liverpool, looking very unlikely that we have any chance at a title race, at least in the short term. And on top of all of that, when you're still trying to get to grips with all of that, the game against Inter is right around the corner, and on top of all of that, we had now breaking news yesterday. It's seemingly out of nowhere, Edu Gaspar is leaving Arsenal Football Club, which is a huge blow for us, a huge blow for Arteta, because Edu Gaspar is a huge reason why we are where we are. Of course, Arteta was also a huge reason as the manager, but Edu really helped a lot in the transfer window. He was a huge reason why we got guys like Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, Martin Odegaard, you name it. Edu Gaspar was massive for us, and it's all of a sudden just a shock surprise for us. It started off as a quick rumor, and then within a couple of hours, Arsenal announced it themselves. But is this a huge blow for Arsenal, or is this something that just happens in a football club and we should be able to bounce back quite easily? Well, that's what we'll be talking about today. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Gunner Central here. I hope you're all doing well. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, I already mentioned everything Edu Gaspar did for Arsenal, so let's talk about what we do know about why he just left seemingly all of a sudden and out the blue. Edu was offered the CEO position with a football group that includes Nottingham Forest, Olympiacos, and Rio Ave in Portugal. So that's obviously a huge step for Edu Gaspar, from being a sporting director for Arsenal to being a CEO of a football group that has 3 different football clubs under them. So of course, that is obviously going to bring in a huge wage increase. It's tripled his wages apparently compared to what he was with at Arsenal. So on the personal perspective, you can completely understand why Edu decided to leave Arsenal and join this football group. It makes complete sense, and frankly, I'm quite happy for him. He's done a lot for Arsenal. He's helped us in our worst of times. It's essentially a huge promotion that of course he couldn't turn down, so I'm fully aware of it and I'm happy for him. But it appears that Arsenal kind of knew about this potential exit a few weeks ago, even though it was never reported, and us Arsenal fans only found out yesterday about everything. Apparently Arsenal knew about this for several weeks, which does obviously make sense. And according to Josh Kroenke's notes, Arsenal will still look to replace Edu, and the club have a succession plan already in place, which of course is huge news. And another thing that I know about the succession plan is that apparently Arteta is going to have a huge say on who comes in and who becomes Arsenal's new sporting director. It's been said Edu has aspirations of still being Arsenal's CEO in the future, but obviously his time at the club right now has come to an end. Mikel Arteta and Edu were really close, and they had a very open communication style about every single outgoing and incoming within the club. So of course this is a huge loss for Arteta, but it's also another reason why Arteta's voice and who he thinks should come in as a sporting director is another huge reason why we should trust Arteta. Listen, it is a huge loss, but I don't think not having Edu, I don't think that is going to stop us from being good in the transfer window. I don't think it's going to really halt our vision for our club. And like Josh Kroenke said in his notes, that change and evolution is part of a club. Arsenal still remain focused on our strategy and winning major trophies. Arsenal's succession plan will reflect the continued ambition. So basically saying that, listen, it's a huge loss for us, but we respect Edu, allow him to leave, but it's not really going to change anything fundamentally around the club. We're still going to do the transfers the way we do them. We're still going to do contract extensions the way that we do them. And yes, it is a huge loss because Edu had so much connections with so many different agents around the world. He knew scouts around the world. I mean, that's why we got Martinelli, because Edu did so much good work in Brazil. But it is what it is. These things happen. Change is inevitable, and although it can be scary at times, it can make you wonder, like, this is the worst time for it to happen. We've just lost at St. James's Park. We're 5th in the Premier League. We're not looking good on the field, and now our sporting director, someone who was a huge reason why Arteta is where he is today, our sporting director has now left. So are we in trouble? I know that's immediately how everyone's thinking, because in the previous video I made about all our fans were panicking about our on the field performances. Now we have off the field issues as well. I don't really think it's that huge of a deal. Of course, it's a big loss for us, but I'm very happy for Edu, and I do think Arsenal could find ourselves another sporting director that could even be better than Edu in the long run. Who knows? Anyway, well done to Edu. Arsenal, let's keep moving forward.